in finance side, and we are going to discuss the different aspects of SAP FICO, okay, finance and controlling, which is going to be the demo session for the day, and we are going to discuss the benefits and the features and other aspects. And in between, we are going to take certain uh, breaks to ask you the take up the questions. Okay. So meanwhile, everyone of you are unmuted. So whenever you are having any queries, when the break is taken for the question and answer, you can raise your hands and we can take up the questions. Okay. And this is going to be very interesting and a very nice session. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. I'll be on.
Okay, hello, hi, hello, hi everyone. My name is Gaurav. I'm SAP FICO consultant, and I've been into this SAP for last 10 years and giving this training for last 8 to 9 years. So I am working as I just shared with you, in a MNC as a SAP FICO consultant. So today I'm going to give a demo on FICO. So before I just take you to the FICO, I'll just give you a high level understanding about this SAP software. What is this? And this is how we are going to start. So in my PPT, I'm going to cover the introduction of SAP and courses available and what's eligibility for particularly for FICO course. Then what are the technical and functional modules available in the SAP, and what would be our learning after completing this SAP FICO course? What are the roles and responsibility of a consultant as well as a end user? We follow a methodology in SAP. We call it as ASAP methodology. And under this ASAP methodology, we do the implementation. So, what is that ASAP methodology? We will talk about it. Also, we have a landscape in the SAP. We call it as SAP R3. What is this R3 architecture? So, that we are going to cover. So first and foremost, what do you mean by the SAP? So SAP stands for Systems, Application, and Product in the Data Processing. It is a company founded by five IBM employees, and it's based out of Germany. It's been into the market since 1972. It provides a financial solution, or I would say financial software. This is a kind of financial software. Actually, whenever you start any company and it reach to a particular scale, so for that, first of all, you start like keeping those record in your Excel. Then as your company grow, you buy some software, and as your company is at a global level, then you want to have a software which should be seamless, which should increase your increase your company's productivity, and it will also save your cost. So for that, in the market, we have been given many softwares, and we call them ERPs. So what do you mean by the ERP? ERP stand for Enterprise Resource Planning. So enterprise means any company, and for that company, we may have the resources like the man, material, machine, and these resources through the software we need to mobilize in such a way so that we can get productivity, maximum efficiency, and low cost and low leakages. So that is the benefit that we are expecting from any of our ERP available in the market. But in that ERP, SAP, if I talk about the different ERP other than SAP, so we have Oracle, we have BAN, we have Microsoft Dynamic. If I talk about the Tally, if I talk about India, so you may be familiar about the Tally. And if we compare all these, so SAP is leading, SAP is the top of all these ERPs. Why it is so? What is the reason? So the first and foremost reason is SAP is a very flexible software. And when I'm saying that a very flexible software, what does it mean? It means that we can get this software integrated with any of the application or any of the software. So as you know that this is a, I would say, this is the world of application, or this is the world of software. So nowadays we see every new, or every day we are getting a new software, new application, which increase our productivity, which increase our I would say gain margin, or help us to increase our gain and margin. So every company wants to have that software, but at the same time they want this this new software, this new application to be integrated with their ERP, so that it will give the it should not give the more cost while doing the installation, or while setting up this integration. So SAP is perfect in this, because when we are just going to integrate this SAP with any of the new application, so it doesn't need any new, I would say, additional cost. So that is a benefit, and that is a reason. So SAP, that is the reason you will be able to see this software is being used in many of the top companies, I would say MNCs, and top 100, 500 company. So you will see this software is being used as a ERP. Okay, the what is the purpose of this SAP? Why companies want to have this? So here SAP gives a solution to the various business processes. Like we have in any of the company, we can just see we have the finance department, we have the procurement department, sales department, production department, and for each of these department, we follow a process, business process, to complete that business process, to work on that business process seamlessly. So SAP provides us a solution. So while working in the SAP software, we'll be able to perform that activity in a better way, or with more efficiency. So that is the benefit of having this software. And if I talk about the reach of this software, so more than 30,000 company in India using this SAP software, and this number is going on and on. So if this number is going on and on, then obviously uh, the companies need users who can work on this software, and also the company need consultant who can provide the solution, or who can provide the support to those users. We call them consultant. So who can join this course? So this course, anybody having a background of IT, or developer, tester, business analyst, data analyst, project manager, data scientist, any graduate or postgraduate student, BTech or MCA student, or anybody, particularly if I talk about this FICO module, so anybody who has a background of commerce, or MCom, MBA finance, or CA, ICWA, so that course is, I would say, relevant for those people. So as I just shared with you, in any of the company, you come across these functional areas. So we discuss about finance, purchase, sales, and distribution. Likewise, we have many functional areas. Now, to cater this functional area, SAP has given us module. So, for example, all the finance related processes are going to be covered under the SAP finance module. Likewise, all the procurement related processes are, or material processes are going to cover under the MM. SAP MM stands for material management. Same way, all the sales related or distribution related these processes are covered under the SAP SD module. We call it as SND module, that is the sales and distribution. Likewise, for controlling we have CO, for production planning we have PP, for HR we have SAP HR HCM. For plant maintenance and for warehousing we have SAP WM and extended warehousing management. So all these module which we are discussing, all these are the functional module. There are 40, around 40 modules, so functional module which are available. But these are the module you can just see in any of the companies where the production is going on, or there, that is a manufacturing company, trading company. So these module we can see them, we can see there. And these are, as I just shared with you, these are the functional module. How this is different from the technical module? In these module, in this functional module, we don't require technical, or I would say coding skill. We don't require, it doesn't it we don't need to have the coding or the programming background if we want to work on, or if we want to be a SAP FI or functional consultant. And we have the last as IT or programming or coding. So for that we have a module called in the SAP called SAP ABAP. So for this SAP ABAP, it stands for Advanced Business Application Programming. So it is a technical module. When I'm saying technical module, it means it needs the programming and the coding skill. So anybody who has the interest in the coding or programming, so that person or that guy can just go for the SAP APAP course. So I just list down some of the company in India and globe where this SAP, or I would say these companies are partner with SAP. So what is a normal scenario? So whenever, for example, I have a company, I want to get this SAP implemented in in my company. So what I will do, I will first of all approach SAP. SAP, I would say SAP Labs. So they will give me the license. So based on number of user I want to have, so I will purchase the license so that I can just work on it, or the software can be used in my company. So after getting the license, I need to get this software operational. I want to get this software implemented in the company. For that, I will contact SAP. But if SAP doesn't have the bandwidth, so these are the partner of SAP with whom, with any of one, I can just get this implementation work done. So like we have Deloitte, Accenture, HCL, TCS. So all these are the business partner of SAP. So what these companies will do? So these companies, again, these will be giving the SAP solution based on the SAP Germany. Okay, up to this, if anybody has any questions, so please let me know. I'm just having a hard stop here. Anybody has any doubt, any question, whatever we have discussed so far?
Yeah, guys, you can raise your hands or you can unmute yourself and ask the questions. Is there anyone having any queries?
No, Gaurav, we don't have any doubts. Like this was a very good till the time.
Okay, thank you.
I think Gaurav,
Yeah.
there are more participants join. So I hope like everyone is from finance background. If anyone is having any other background, please let us know. Okay. Even we do have in the chat window, you can communicate with us in the chat window also. Yeah. Fine. Thank you so much, guys. Yeah.
Okay. So what kind of project you can see in the SAP? So whenever we work in any of the SAP project, it could be a implementation project or a rollout project or a support project. So what we have in the implementation project? So let's assume we have a company where we are using a Oracle software, or where we are using the Tally software. Now the company grows, so they want a world-class software to be placed, which gives the seamless service. So for that, we have management has decided that they want to implement this SAP. So where the SAP is going to be implemented for the first time, they don't have any background, they don't have any software background of SAP. So that is called a implementation project. There's a end-to-end implementation. So we want to migrate from our legacy system to SAP system. So that is called a implementation project. And what do you mean by the rollout? So rollout means a company is already using this SAP as a ERP in their company, and what now they are planning. So earlier, actually, they were having, let's say, for presently they have 40 to 50 legal entities, but under SAP they have only 10 legal entities. So they have decided that okay, so they want to go with over a, let's say, period of 1 year or 2 year down the line, they want to have one ERP in their company. So for that, what they want, so slowly they want to get some new companies to be added in this SAP space. So want they want this SAP to be implemented for more legal entities. So if some more legal entities are to be covered under the SAP, so that is called the SAP rollout project. And this may happen due to some new entities taken over by the company, some new acquisition has happened, and some merger has happened. For example, we have a company, and that company has taken over a local company. So that local company was using the Lexi, or it is a tele software. Now because they want a single software to be used in their group, so, or I would say standardization they are looking for. So in order to do that, what they will do, they will migrate from Tally to this SAP software. So that project we will be considered as a rollout project. We also call it with some other name like upgrades, and some other name we can give it. Then we have third type of project, we call it as a support project. This you will see in most of the company, or I would say 60% or 50% like project we consider as a support project. What is the support project? So SAP we have already in the we have already in our company, and users are using this SAP software, but because we know that it is a competitive world and we need to make the changes, we need to adopt some new technology, and we need to adopt some new, or we want to make the changes our business processes. So who is going to make the changes in the business process? Obviously the process manager, program manager, functional manager in the company. They will they will make the changes in their business processes. But who is going to make those changes, or who is going to incorporate those changes in this SAP software? For that we need to have a consultant who will give us a support. So for that, in any of the company where we have this SAP, so they will have their internal SAP support team, or they will hire SAP support team from any of the IT company. It may be TCS, it may be Deloitte, it may be Accenture, it may be some other company who is business partner with SAP. So, and then what what we can expect in the support project. So client want to use this SAP support services for their day-to-day business function. For example, I'm a user. So on a daily basis, I'm facing some trouble, I'm facing some issue. So to whom I will report? Because I'm a user, I will not I may not be authorized to fix that issue myself. So what I will be doing, I will raise a ticket that I am facing this issue, and the ticket will go to the relevant consultant. For example, if it is related to finance, it will go to the FICO consultant. So he will just check what user is like facing the issue, and he will fix it. So that is a job of a consultant under a support project. Then we have a ASAP methodology. So what do you mean by the ASAP methodology? ASAP means accelerated SAP methodology. Under this, what we do, we actually, by the SAP we have been given a roadmap to, if any implementation gets done, so to get that implementation done seamlessly and perfectly, so SAP has already given us a roadmap through which we can get this implementation done. So what are the steps in that roadmap? So first it starts with the project preparation, then second is the business blueprint, third is the realization, and then the next is final project preparation. Then we have the go live, and then we have the hypercare and support. So I'll start with the project preparation. First of all, for any of the project implementation, what we need to do, we need to decide the scope. We need to decide the scope, and in that scope we should have the clarity what we are supposed to do and what we are not supposed to do, and that is we will be writing in the scope. So for example, a company has decided that they have 10 legal entities, but for this implementation we are going to consider 3 legal entity. So 3 legal entity would be in our scope. So we'll not be going beyond that, okay, until unless there is some changes, because we will be writing, first of all we'll be creating a design of that I would say implementation project. So that design will be finalized at the very initial stage, at the first level. So once we are clear about the scope of our work, so then we will start documenting it. So we will understand the business processes, and we will start mapping those business processes by with we will compare it the business processes provided by the SAP, because SAP has been into this ERP for so long, and they have done so many implementation. So by doing so many implementation, they know that okay, in any of, let's say if it is a manufacturing company, if it is a trading company, or if it is a aviation company, so in these sectors we follow a particular set of processes. Now they have already adopted those processes in their ERP, and what we call them best practices. We call them best practices. So best practice is what? Best practice is a, I would say, example. It is a process, let's say posting of a entry. So this posting of entry is followed in most of the company in finance department. So how that posting of a accounting entry can be done in a better way, so that SAP has already mentioned it, and for that we have a document, we have a solution for that. So what we will be doing, we will be comparing that solution or that best practice with what client is having presently in their legacy system. So we'll mapping the data, we'll process, or I would say we will map the processes of the client with the best practices provided by the SAP. So what we call it, we after that we just document it, and after that we follow a approach, and that approach is as is and to be approach, as is and to be approach. And at this level only, when we are working for the business blueprint, so we'll be also working on the fit gap analysis. So what do you mean by the fit gap analysis? First, let's discuss about this as is and to be approach. So as is approach means how that particular finance process is being followed in the legacy software. So that software could be Oracle, Tally, Barn, any of the software we can take it. So how that business process is being followed currently, and when this implementation will happen, when this SAP implementation will get over. So post SAP implementation, how that process will be followed, if there would be any change in that process, if there is some steps which are going to increase or which are going to decrease, so that we are going to document in the as is and to be approach. Okay, this thing is clear, what is the as is and to be approach? I assume silence means you are getting
It's
it.
clear.
Okay. So at the time of a business blueprint document, so what else we do? We work on a analysis called fit gap analysis. What do you mean the fit gap analysis? Actually, SAP has given us standard processes. So SAP, when I'm saying that SAP has given us standard processes, so I mean to say SAP has given us a standard solution. So standard solution is going to fulfill the standard requirement of the client. It could be a report, it could be interface, it could be enhancement, it could be some some I would say uh, format, current format. So what SAP has provided, client is happy with that, and client doesn't want to, or I would say client is not very much demanding. So that is called the standard, that is called the standard solution we are opting, and that has been given by the SAP. Now what else we have? So that is the fit, okay, which is fitting in our SAP solution. So that particular requirement of your client which is not fitting in your SAP standard solution, for that what option you have? So for that, let's say the standard report given by the SAP, so your client is saying that no, I am not happy to see it, I want to have some more fields, some more option format, I want to see it. For that, what we can offer? We can offer custom program, or I would say custom solution. So in order to give the custom solution, why you are giving this custom solution? Because there is a gap. So gap means what? Gap actually the requirement which client has given us. So that is not, I would say it is not getting met by the SAP solution, by a solution provided by the SAP. So that standard solution is not working. So if that standard solution is not working, in that case we are going to give the custom solution. So that custom solution is bridging the gap between the requirement of your client and the solution we are providing from the SAP side. So that is called a fit gap analysis. Then we can come to the realization. So under this realization, we will start working in the system. We will start doing the customization, configuration. We'll do the testing, and there are various level of testing. We have the unit testing, we have the functional unit testing, we have the system integration testing. Then we have the user acceptance testing, regression testing. Then after passing all these testing phase, so now we are good to go to just shift to the new software, but new software doesn't have the legacy data. So if some pending tasks are there in your legacy data, in your legacy software, you have some purchase order for which you have not done the good receipt. You have done the good receipt. If you have done those good receipt, then you have not done the invoice receipt. So there is some gap, there is some pending task which you have in your legacy data. So what you will do, you will move that data to your new SAP software, that is called final project preparation, and that we cover under the cutover activities. We cover under the cutover. Why we call it as cutover activities? Because that SAP we are implementing, so that we are implementing this year, but that data which client is having, that is not 1 year data or 2 year data, that may be 10-year data, 20-year data, or 30, because that company is so old. So they are in the market for last 50 years. So does it mean we need to migrate the 50 years data into the SAP software? Answer is no. So this is to be decided by the IT head, by the senior management, what should be the cut for the data. So we want to migrate from our legacy software. We want to migrate 3 year data, 5 year data, 7 year data. So normally 3 to 5 year data we migrate from the old software, and the preference is for those transactions which are in progress, which have not completed so far. So we prefer to have that data into the new software, so that in that post coming into the new software, we will be able to complete them. And also we want to have the 3 year 5 year data, so that we can do some kind of analysis, simulation, data analysis. So that is or we want to compare our new data with the old data. So that is the thing we will be able to do in our new SAP ERP. So that we cover under the cutover activities when we have the available data on which we need to work on. So we'll start working on it. So this go live we prefer to have on the start of the new financial year. It could be like 1st of April, and if the company is not following the non-calendar year, then we may have it for on 1st of January, but we prefer it on the first day of the new financial year. So here it is saying that after the go live, so go live means what? Go live means your users have started using on the SAP software. They are using their day-to-day business activities on the SAP software. Then after that, there would be 1 to 2 month or 2 to 3 month hypercare. So we need to support. We need to fix those errors faced by the user while doing their day-to-day business activity, because they just recently switch. So they just recently switched from their legacy software to ERP software. So for that, we also need to give some training. So how you are doing that, how you are doing the activity in your old software, how that same activity can be done in your new software. So what are the steps? So we need to provide them user manual, various kind of documentation. We need to give them. After that, they will start working on it, and if they feel any difficulty, issue, or trouble, then we need to troubleshoot, we need to fix those issues. Then after like 3 to 4 months, we will have a normal support, and this normal support will go for 1 year, 2 year. Again, it is subject to the agreement client has signed with the IT company. So I hope this ASAP methodology is clear to everyone. If anybody has any question or anything which I have not covered, so please let me know. Okay, so we have two types of user. We have end user and we have the consultant. So who is a end user? Who is performing the day-to-day business activity? So this day-to-day business activity could be posting of some invoice, some accounting data, and it could be creation of various type of accounts. So this account could be your supplier account, customer account. It could be your very common GL account where we report income, expense, balance sheet account. Then we need to also create the fixed asset account. We need to create the material master. Here we are not creating, like finance people will not be. Yeah, if anybody has anything. Okay.
Yes, yes, Gaurav. I have one question regarding the previous slide for
Mhm.
support activities. Like what type of tools we are using in the support activities
Support
when we
actually, yeah, so we can use a remedy. So we can use a remedy force. We can use service now. We can have some other I would say tool through which we can get the notification from the user that they are facing some issue. So basically, we it is a kind of ticketing tool. So this like software we will be using, it is a ticketing tool. So this user will be, if they will face any issue, they will have some new requirement, so they will create a incident means some issue is, it needs to be fixed in the production. And if they want some new development to be done, for that we have the service request or the change request. So that is to be raised by the user or by the super user in the ticketing tool. And there are different ticketing tool nowadays in the market. It could be ServiceNow, it could be Remedy Force, and it is something uh, given by the other companies also. So mainly these are the tool. And also SAP provide its own ticketing tool, we call it as it is the ITMC ticketing tool provided by the SAP only. So that is particularly for like handling day to day working, day to day issues raised by the users.
Okay, thank you.
So as I just shared with you, so as a user, we need to perform the day to day business activities, and under that we may also have the, we need to also track all those invoices for which the GR, if I talk about the purchase order, so GR has happened, invoice receipt has not happened. And if the invoice has happened, so further we need to do some kind of reconciliation. Then after having all the data in the system, what we need to pull out the reports. So we need to generate the report for the internal and external reporting. These are the activities to be performed by the business user. Then we have the SAP R3 architecture. We'll go to the consultant role, but we will first discuss about the SAP R3 architecture. This is the SAP landscape. R stands for real time, 3 stands for 3 client. In a very simple language, in simple words, I would say there are three different system you will be working on. So first is going to be your development system, second is your quality system, and third is your production system. So these three system, if you are working as a consultant, you can just see in any of the company where SAP is being used. So what is the development system? Development system is a system used only by the consultant. So user has no role on this I would say client. So what we do in the development system, we do the configuration. It is also known as a golden client. Why we call it as a golden client? Because on this client we will be doing the configuration. When I'm saying that configuration, so I mean to say we will be like developing the solution for the, so that the business user could carry out his day-to-day business activity. So in order to post doing the configuration as a user, we will be also doing the high level testing. Then after that, what we'll be doing, we will ask the user to do the testing. We'll give this a demonstration to the, we'll give the demo to the client that this is what we have developed. And if this is meeting your requirement, if they are saying that no, it is not meeting our requirement, you need to incorporate some changes, then we'll go back to the development system and we'll incorporate those changes. And again we will be like moving the development from development to quality system. So what is the quality system? Basically, in a very simple words, so quality system is kind of a copy of your real system. It is just a copy of your real system. So this copy may be 1 month old copy or 5 month old copy or 1 year old copy. But normally we need like this copy is going to be 5 to, I would say, 6 to 8 month or 6 to 1 year old copy. So in this copy, what we have all the data which we have in the production system. And what do you mean by the production system? Production client is your real time client. When I'm saying that real time client, so what does it mean? It means in this we have the real time data, business data. So this business data, we have all the like vendors account, customer account, GL account. Then for those account we have the also financial accounting entries. We also have the sale order, purchase order. So all that financial data or logistic data we have been given in the production system. And also in the production system, this data is getting updated on a real time basis. So real time basis means So as and when any business user is carrying out his business activity, it is updating the data. So that is called the real time data. So a copy of that real time data we maintain in the quality system, so that we can carry out the testing, and the testing should cover most of the business scenarios. So for example, in order to do any kind of financial accounting entry, so we need the GL. Okay, so that GL and some kind of accounting entry which we want to take it as a reference. So we can, if we will have that data available in the system, then it would be easy for us to carry out the testing. So once we have carried out the testing in the development system, it is working fine, then we will showcase this to the client, to the super user, and that we will be showing in the quality system. So quality system will always in a display mode. We can't make any changes. Where we can make the changes only in the golden client. So here we are going to give the demonstration to the client that how this solution is going to work and what are the steps involved in this. So here we will be also performing various kind of testing as I just shared with you: unit testing, system integration testing, user acceptance testing, regression testing. So then, if the user is saying that, if the business is saying that the development made by us, so that is meeting their client, that is meeting their requirement. So they are just saying that, okay, now you can move the development to the real time system. Real time system is nothing but your production system. So you will be moving that particular development from quality to production system. So that is the flow we follow in any of the SAP project. Okay, any doubt? So these three clients are clear: development, quality, and a production client. Okay, then we will talk about the role of a consultant. So consultant is a developer. He could be a finance consultant, MMSD, or HR consultant. So what he will do? First of all, he will understand the business processes of his client. So first of all, what he will do? He will gather also the requirement from the client. Actually, with for any of the company, we have the standard processes. We follow a standard processes. We call them SOPs. So these are the standard oriented processes. So how a particular activity is to be done, that is defined under the SOP. Now, what they will that consultant will understand those SOP, and based on that SOP, what he will do? He will do the mapping. As I just shared with you, we have been given the processes or the solution for the business processes by the SAP also. We call them best practices. So those best practices are going to be compared with the current processes of the or SOPs of the client. So if SAP consultant has observed any gap, so for that he will be writing a functional specification document. If there is no gap, it is fitting, it is meeting the client requirement, standard solution is available, then he will be writing that standard solution in the business blueprint document. We call it as BBP. Then after this, he will start working on the system. He will do the configuration, customization, some kind of code if he needs to change. We call it as a RICEF. So RICEF is nothing but R stands for report, I stand for interface, C stands for conversion of some kind of data, and E for enhancement, and we have F for format, and we have W for the workflow. We call it as RICEF W or W RICEF, anything. Then it is saying that after doing all these things, then we can, or the consultant will be doing the testing. So as I just shared with you, there are various steps or level of testing we have. So once this testing is over, so it is meeting the client requirement or whatever the client is looking for, so we are able to show them. Then after that, we will be moving that development, and we will be moving the development from the quality system to production system, and it is saying that it should have the similar result. So there should be consistency of the test result. So whatever the result we are getting in the development in the quality client, so the same result we should be getting in the production system in order to make it successful. So in any of the SAP project, so what should be the team? We call it as a SAP core team. It is a SAP core team. So in the core team, we will have the people from the business. We will have the people from the IT. So from the IT side, what is the team composition? So in this, we will have a delivery head, and under the delivery head, we will be having the delivery manager. So this delivery under the delivery manager, will be having the project manager, and this project manager is going to be, I would say, owner of that project. For actually day to day reporting, he will just report to the client that where we are and where we stand, and what is the common issues and how those issues are being handled. So that is to be reported by the project manager. Then it is saying that after the project manager, we have the solution architect or process architect. So this solution architect, we have always the functional consultant, or I would say preferred, we have that solution architect from the functional background. Then after that, we have the lead and principal consultant. So this lead or principal could be your technical consultant. It could be your functional consultant as well. Same is the case with the senior consultant. Then we have the consultant and associate consultant. So this is the team structure we have from the IT side. So from the business side, we have we have the person that is I would say responsible for all these activities. So that is the IT head, and we call him business application manager, or it is a that person would be at a director position, and below that we'll be having the process owner. So this process owner could be who normally design the process of any of the business activity. Then we have the functional or product manager. So this is the team composition we have. We call it as a core team, SAP core team. So that was a high level understanding about the SAP. Now we'll talk about our core, or we will talk about our FI and CO. So first let's cover the FI. In the FI we have been given the various module. I not sorry module within the SAP module, FI module, we have been given various components. So these components are the general ledger accounting, account payable accounting, account receivable accounting, and asset accounting. So under the general ledger accounting, what we do, we create the GLs. These GLs could be your income, expense, liability, assets. So these GLs we create, and in these GL we do the posting. So this posting could be a like it is following a workflow, or through the integration we are getting those entries in the system. For example, we have a purchase order. Due to some purchase order good receipt, so you got some uh, you receive some material document, receive some accounting document, because these entries can be done manually and it can also be done through the integration. Then post doing the data entry, so what we'll do the account analysis reconciliation. So all those accounting entry on which we need the further action, or we don't need to have the further action, so that we'll just check under the reconciliation. Then there are some activities which are to be carried out in the month end. So that is the reason we call them period end activity or periodic activity, where we do the interest posting, recurring run activity. Then it is saying that finally, whatever the data we have input to the system, we need to pull out the data for the reporting to the internal and external management. Then we have the account payable accounting. This is a kind of sub ledger accounting which is going to feed your journal ledger accounting. So what it will do, actually we have the supplier. So for the supplier we'll be follow this component called account payable accounting, where we'll be keeping all his record. We call in the SAP terminology, we call him vendor. So we'll be creating the vendor master data, where we'll be keeping all the detail about the vendor. What is the contact detail of that vendor, what is the bank detail of that vendor, how we are going to do the business transaction with him. So what is the terms of payment, how we are going to pay him, and any preferred bank through which we want to pay him. So if he will be paid a single check for his invoices or multiple checks. So all these things we are going to maintain the master data, and once this master data we maintain, we will start doing the transaction. So this transaction, as I just shared with you, it could be a automatic manual transaction, and it could be your purchase invoice, your purchase return invoice. Then we also do the outgoing payment. So this outgoing payment could be manual or automatic. Then after that, we'll do the analysis. Okay, what are the invoices for which we have made the payment, and what are the invoices for which the payment is pending. Then we will do the again month end activity in the for your vendor in the account payable accounting, and we call it as a actually in the month end we mostly have the foreign currency valuation run. So what do you mean by the foreign currency valuation run? Actually, all those vendor uh, who are not in India, or I would say who are the foreign vendor, and for that we made the purchase in foreign currency. So what when we are paying him, we will be paying him after, let's say, 1 month, 2 month, 3 month. So in the month end, we need to revalue their balance. We need to just check the exchange rate gain or loss. So what is our liability? So due to that liability in the month end, so we are getting any loss or gain. We will compare with the date we purchase that activity or we purchase that goods or services, and what is the rate of that goods or services at the month end. So based on that, we'll be doing the foreign currency valuation. So that we'll discuss in detail in our training program. Then finally, we will be doing the reporting also in this account payable component. And the same activities we will be doing in the account receivable accounting for our customer. So we'll be creating the customer account. Again, we will be processing the business data. So this business data could be the sales invoice, sales return invoice, incoming payment, and again, this incoming payment can be automatic, can be manual. And after that, we have that reconciliation. Again, like the way you have the purchase order, or I would say purchase invoices in the foreign currency, we may also have the sales invoices in the foreign currency. So for that sales invoices, we also carry out in the month end foreign currency valuation run for our customer. So we'll report the gain and loss. Then finally we will do the reporting. So the last component we are going to take care of the fixed asset of the company. So fixed asset of your company like land, building, plant and machine. So in that, what is the important thing? The important thing is we need to report the actual values of our fixed asset. So actual values of our fixed asset we will be able to know if we are calculating the depreciation and right value is being depreciated from our asset. Then we will be able to have the actual value in our books of accounts. So it is saying that in this what we are going to cover, we will see how we can add a asset, how we can purchase a asset, how we can retire or sell a asset, then how we can post a depreciation, because SAP has given us a standard depreciation run through which we are going to depreciate all our fixed asset in a single go. So how we can do that. Then we will also see how the posting of assets are going to hit your GL. So that is the integration of assets with the GL. Then we also have a fixed asset account master data. We'll create the fixed asset account like the way we create the GL account, vendor account. Same way we'll be creating the fixed asset master data. Then how we can scrap a asset, transfer a asset, so that we are going to see. So after completing this course, what we can just look for, or what should be our understanding? So our understanding about the organizational structure, concept, basic concept of finance in the in the SAP. So that should be cleared. So we should be able to fix some small, I would say, issues reported by the user, and that may be part of the support rollout or SAP end-to-end implementation. Then we should have the clarity about the how we have the business process, finance processes. So how those processes are used in the general ledger accounting, AP, AR accounting, fixed asset accounting. So that we need to know, or that we should have the clarity about. So most common processes in the finance and how we can use them in the SAP ERP software, that we should be able to know. After that, we the way we have the component in the SAP FI, same way we have the component in the SAP controlling. So like we have the cost element accounting, cost center accounting, profit center accounting, internal order. So all these we are going to cover in the controlling. Then we will also cover the, or we should be able to know the integration of FI with the SDMM module, how these are integrated. In the background, we have table structure program. So how we can view those table structure program that we need to know, or we should be able to we should be able to we should be able to access them after completing this training. So this was a high level understanding about the course. Okay, now I will take you to the system. Before I take you to the system, if you have any question for me, just let me know.
Hello.
Yeah, hello, are we
Uh,
good?
yeah, I think everybody is already on mute. So, guys, you can unmute yourself and ask for the questions if you have any. Hello.
Yeah, I think it's clear. The way it is going, we are able to understand. Yeah.
Yeah, Bhaskar, that's really great. So, Bhaskar, I just want to ask you for the curiosity. So, may I know your profile? Like, are you working in finance side, or what the
Yeah,
role
yeah.
of
I'm
your?
the deputy finance controller in yeah, Aether.
Oh, great. No issues. So, I think like a few more people joined since we started the session. So there are almost 20 more participants here. So just want to
Uh,
give some heads up on the things what we are going to do this one. This is a very intense training which we are going to provide on SAP FICO. So the thing here is we are going to concentrate more on the practicality of SAP aspects. So SAP related with finance side. Okay. And we are into the market is almost 12 to 13 years in the market, and we are training in different domains of SAPs like logistics, finance, HR, and all 54 modules which we have in SAP. We are training with them. Okay, and we have a very good track record of concentrating majorly on the project aspects. So like that's really going to be a very good learning. And also, we are going to concentrate on resume preparation for the participants who are willing to switch their career from their finance domain to SAP FICO or SAP domain. Okay, that's also going to be very helpful for. And also, we'll be providing the session recordings to you all guys, and we are going to give you the complete material, the configuration guides, everything which will be helpful for you when you are going to enter into the project and you want to crack the interviews. And also we are going to help you out for the interview preparations, and if at all you are getting any calls as such, we'll be helping you out, like how you are going to attend the interviews for that, and what are the major things employers are looking into an SAP consultants. So switching the career from normal finance domain to SAP finance is little challenging, guys. So we need to be very patient, had to have a lot of patience for this one, and also consistent practice is very much necessary here. Okay, how much hands-on you do, that much the probability will increase for you guys to clear the interviews for this one. Since SAP jobs are very lucrative one, the thing here is it's a very highly paid jobs compared to the normal domain jobs what we do, because finance is the major module here in SAP side. So all the different modules are eventually going to be interlinked with finance only. So there is going to be a very high demand in the market. So if you're asking me only finance means like only FICO is only the module which we are offering, no. We do have SAP TRM, Treasury and Risk Management, FSCA. So all these are the different SAP finance related modules. But the stepping stone for all the all the finance modules in SAP is FICO, and it's having a lot of demand in the market, because anyway the other departments are not really interested. The foremost department is going to be finance only. Without finance department, no business is going to run. So considering that one, it's comparatively lot of requirements are there in the market for SAP FICO consultants, and also a good SAP FICO consultant is having a very highly paid salary for this. Okay, so considering this one, just will quickly look into the system first. Okay, from there we can take it. If at all you are having any doubts, guys, please you can ask anything related with your career or related with how it works and what are the prospect. Gaurav will be answering the questions. Thank you. Gaurav, I think you can proceed.
Okay, sure. So, like my fellow colleague told you, so until unless you do the hands-on, you will not be able to understand this SAP and various of the SAP processes for which we need to give the solution to our client. So for the knowledge or for the hands-on, what we need to do, we need to go into the system and do the hands-on. So here I'll now walk you through the system. So this is the any of your like whenever you just log into any of your SAP software, so it will ask for the user ID password. You need to just click on the log on, enter that user ID password. Here I'm entering my user ID password. So once we have entered into the system, by default system will take us to this screen called SAP Easy Access screen. So I will also walk you through the navigation, but that will just see in the later stage or in the next meeting. But here in this, what do you mean by this SAP Easy Access screen? This is a screen where we can do our day-to-day business activity as a user, or as a consultant, we can also do our testing. So what kind of testing? Any user process for which you have developed any solution. So now you want to test that solution. You want to test that particular development. How you will be able to test it? For that you need to carry out some as user and activity. So that user activity could be posting of some data or some kind of report you need to run. So for example, if I want to follow a or if I want to run a user activity and that user activity is related to finance, so for that you will come down, you can just see this is the SAP menu. So here we have been given the option the accounting. We can just open the accounting, and in the logistics you will have some related activities related to the activities or material activities. So we can just open the accounting for the finance related activity. And also within the accounting we have been given the various options like the financial accounting, then we have the supply chain management controlling. So we need to start with the financial accounting. We can open it. The module component we have discussed within the SAP FI, so that you will be able to see here like the general ledger accounting, payable receivable accounting, we have the asset accounting. So for example, if I go for with the general ledger accounting, then further it will give us the option what do you want to do. You want to do some kind of posting, you want to see some document, you want to create some account, you want to carry out some period and activity, or you want to pull out some report. So these options are available. For example, if I want to post any accounting entry, so again for that we have been given the option you want to follow a workflow or you want to do a direct posting. In order to do a direct posting, we have been given the option. For example, here we can just go with the first option, that is the enter journal ledger accounting document, and we can just open it. So you can just see for the description we have been given the code. These codes are nothing but your transaction IDs or transaction code. In the SAP we call them T codes. So in this we can just see we have the title where we can just see what kind of screen it is. So it is saying that in this you can make the posting for a particular legal entity, and we need to give the date and other information. So let's have here the date as today's date. Then we need to have the currency for that particular legal entity, and we can come down, we can give the information for some GL. Let's say I want to report some expense, so accordingly I just mention here the GL. And you know the accounting, so in that accounting we use debit credit, so here we'll be using the debit credit information. Then we can give the amount. Let it be the amount I'm entering here, it is 12,000 on both side, debit and credit side. So press enter button and it will give you a green message. It means that we are good to go. Our both sides are equal. So you know that accounting rule. So here we should have that same amount on both sides. It means we don't have any difference. So here you can just see the green indicator. So now we can just go and post the document. Click on the save option. You can also use like the way you work in the MS Office, you use a Control S option to save the data. Here also To save the data or to save the information, we can use the control s option. So now you can just see system has given us a accounting document number. It is 10020. If you want to navigate, if you want to see some more detail about this document we have posted, so what do? You go in the menu. There are various options. So for example, we can go to the document. If you want to make the changes in the posted document, so we have been given the change option. If you want to go for the display of the document we have entered, if you want to this is the posting option, so that we have already done. Then we have the workflow where we can park it, then we can check it. Okay, so for example, I want to display. So this is how we will be able to display the document. You can double click on this line item, it will take you to some more detail. So this is how a normal activity is done. Now, in order to do this activity, you can just see here this 1122 company code is there, and we are following a currency. So how that configuration is to be done in the background? For that, you can just see this is called command box. Okay, so in this command box, we need to enter the command. So we need to enter here a command called SPRO. What do you mean by the SPRO? This is for the development. As a consultant, if you want to do any kind of development, so you will write it here SPRO. It stands for SAP Project Reference Object. So you need to enter it. After entering it, system will just show you this kind of screen. This is the execute project. In this execute project, you will see there are three buttons. We have the SAP reference IMG, we have IMG information, and we have the project analysis. So always we need to click on this SAP reference IMG. IMG stands for implementation guide. Click on this. Now it has taken you to the development screen, where as a developer you can do the testing. So as I just shared with you, this IMG or this screen is going to be common for all your functional consultant. You, it may be a finance consultant or SDMM or HR or logistics consultant. So we need to go to our relevant area and we need to do our configuration. For example, our relevant area is financial accounting. Okay, so if I want to go and create a object which is only related to finance, I can just go and create it. But any object which is hitting or which is impacting other module also, for example SDMM HR, so that particular object we need to define at a enterprise level. You can just see this is enterprise level. So now we can open the enterprise, and further we can go for the definition. So we need to define that object under what? Under the financial accounting, controlling, logistics. So let's suppose we need to define it under the financial accounting. So we can go into the financial accounting. Under this, system has proposed us these are the objects available which we can define for our financial accounting at a enterprise structure level, at a client level or at a group level. So we can go with the third option. Let's say I want to define a legal entity, and in order to define the legal entity, we need to go into it. We need to give the ID description, we need to give the information. So you can just see whenever any implementation gets done, give me 1 second. So whenever any implementation gets done, SAP provides us a standard data, is some reference data which you will be able to see in any of the SAP software. So this IDES is my reference data. So if I am new to the SAP and I don't know how the objects are to be maintained, and for these objects what kind of information I need to maintain, so I can go to these standard data and check it. For example, in order to create a legal entity, I can just double click on this, and I can just see here for the legal entity these fields are required. These field we need to maintain. So for example, a code has been given, then the name of the company, city, country, currency, language has been given. So for example, if I want to define my client legal entity, so I need to give a code, and that code has been given by the SAP as standard. What is the standard length? So the standard length of this code is up to the 4 character, could be alphanumeric. It is up to the 4 character, could be alphanumeric. So here we have the 0001. So that length, as I just shared with you, it is 4 character. Then we have the description. In description, we can give the name of the legal entity. We can give the whereabout of that legal entity. What is the currency we are going to follow? Because that is going to decide your foreign currency posting. And in that foreign currency posting, based on this currency, system would be able to compare the exchange rate and where that rate is to be maintained, so that whatever the posting will be doing in the foreign currency system should be able to translate that amount into your local currency and give us a difference. So this thing we will be doing in the development, and likewise we can just like go into the next steps and we can define it. So this is how actually how the configuration steps are to be done, how the testing is to be done. So all that I have just maintained it in a, I would say, practice sheet. And those practice sheet, as a, just Viraj has said, so I'm going to share with you. So first of all, I will just show you in the class how configuration is to be done step by step, testing is to be done. Likewise, you also need to do it offline. So you need to do the hands-on on system. You need to do the configuration. You need to do the testing also. So for example, here if I just go and open the practice sheet. So it has some PPT which we are going to discuss in the class. Then we also have the PDF file. This PDF file having a, I would say, series of steps. So I'm going to show you how this step is to be done in the class. Then you will offline, you will do it. So you can just see we have the step number 1. Under that we have the step number 1.1 where we need to define the company. Then we need to define the company code. So first of all, I will let you know about all these nomenclature. What do you mean by the company code? Then how these are to be set up, how which information we require to set up these object, what do you mean by the chart of account, fiscal year variant. So all these things we are going to discuss one by one. Okay, so these practice sheets I'm going to share with you. So what you can do, you can just take a printout of all these practice sheet, and because you will observe here for the information, for example these fields we have mentioned here, company name. So we I have not given any information. What is the reason? So the reason is you can take out the printout. So whatever the information we will be using in our training in our class, so that information you can write it here, and these notes you can keep it in front of you when you are doing the hands on. So it will also it will also make you I would say not dependent on the video recording. You don't need to every time open the recording and check it. So if these notes will be handy with you in front of you, then you will be able to, it will help you to do the practice. Okay, so this is from my side. If you have any question, just let me know.
Hello, hello, Gaurav. Guys, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Okay, great then. So, guys, if you are having any queries, you can ask. If not, we can conclude the session for the day. And all of you will be getting these recordings. Please go through the recordings, and so now I will be coordinating with you all for the further process. If at all any one of you are interested, I guess. I guess Gaurav, nobody is having any queries, so we can conclude the session for the day. And thank you so much, Gaurav, for the wonderful session, wonderful insight of SAP FICO. And thank you all of you guys for attending the session.
thank
Okay,
you.
we'll look forward for the things. Thank you so much, Gaurav. Really appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Bye.
Thank you.